Hello everyone, welcome to the Autoimmune Dietitian YouTube channel. My name is Annie. I'm a registered dietitian and I work with people struggling with autoimmune diseases. In my work with my clients, I help them use food and lifestyle as a way to improve their symptoms and hopefully give them their lives back. So changing your diet is really hard. Believe me, I am a creature of habit, so I totally get it. But when you live with an autoimmune disease, what you eat is so important because it can directly affect how you feel on a day-to-day basis. So that's why I'm talking about nutrient density this month, because it's a very simple but meaningful way to positively impact your autoimmune condition. So today we're going to talk about how to eat a more nutrient-dense diet. And before I jump in, I just need to attach my disclaimer that the information in today's talk is not the substitute for the diagnosis, treatment, or care of disease by a medical provider. This is for informational purposes only. Please consult your qualified health professional for any changes you make to your medical care. So I like to really focus on what you can eat, because all the noise and nutrition noise out there always talks about what you can't eat, but I think it's important to focus on what is available and what you can eat. So let's kick off this conversation talking about that. Eating a nutrient-dense diet means that you're trying to consume as many nutrients, so vitamins, minerals, macronutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and other important chemicals that we find in different foods. You want to try to eat as many of those as possible. So choosing foods from the main food groups is a great way to start. So those include things like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and you want to aim for as close to the original form as possible. Dairy if tolerated, seafood, eggs, poultry, lean meats, legumes, nuts, and seeds. So the closer their food is to its original grown form, the more nutrients it will likely have. And a lot of times people say, just to stick to unprocessed foods. However, these days most of our food is processed. So instead, I just want you to try to eat whole foods, like the things that you would get from a garden, things that look like food. And now let's kind of discuss what you want to start limiting or, not eating so much of. And, there's only so many calories we can eat in a day. And if we're truly optimizing our nutrients, that doesn't leave a lot of room for those non-nutrient dense foods. And this isn't saying that you have to cut them out completely, but we want to shift away from those and just eat more nutrient dense foods. So here are the foods that, these are the things that you want to start trying to minimize. So foods with a lot of ingredients, many of which you don't recognize as food. The caveat here is that a lot of times food manufacturers will add vitamins and minerals to foods to kind of beef up their nutrient density. And I don't have a problem with that, but they look like chemicals. So you just have to be a little bit savvy when you're reading food labels and really understand what exactly is going into that food. You want to start limiting foods that have a lot of added sodium, foods with added sugars. So if you look on the added sugar line item on a food label, you want to aim for something that's under 3 grams of added sugar. That's a low sugar food. Artificial colors, flavors, stabilizers, gums, some are okay, but generally speaking, we want to avoid gums. Natural flavors, I even tell people to, really try to avoid or cut back on, because we just don't know what is in that. Refined grains, foods that are high in calories and low in everything else like soda. So how do you do this, right? It's really, nutrient-dense eating sounds really straightforward on paper. It seems pretty easy, but we all know how hard it is to implement something new. So here is how I would go about meal planning and trying to, get yourself to shift to a more nutrient-dense diet. I want you to first write down a typical week of eating on like a piece of paper, on a whiteboard, whatever your phone, whatever is easiest for you. And write down, every day of the week, like what do you have for breakfast? What do you have for lunch? What do you have for dinner? What about snacks? What are things that you drink? Then I want you to look at that food list of things that you're eating, and I want to see where you can add in more nutrients or make a swap for a more nutrient-dense food. For example, you could swap out your refined grain added sugar cereal for something a little less processed like oatmeal, or your bag of chips that you have, as your afternoon snack. Maybe switch that to a whole grain cracker or something that just has less ingredients. So once you kind of figure that out, you want to come up with a new meal plan, making sure that you're including snacks and other meals that you don't plan for. Again, the key here is planning. People fail because they don't plan. So if you plan out what you're going to eat, what you're going to have available on hand, you will be a lot more successful. So once you have that meal plan, write your grocery list out, go to the grocery store, stock up on these new food items. And then when you get home, clean out your pantry of all of the non-nutrient dense foods that you don't want to eat anymore. Put it in a box and put it somewhere where you can't access it, so it's not tempting to eat those. If you need to invest in on-the-go containers, please do that. This will help you keep you compliant when you are out and about. We are all busy. We're all running around, grabbing the most convenient things. So if you've already prepped things to go in these containers, it'll be a lot easier for you to grab that, Tupperware of cut up apples or mason jar full of nuts. The more you plan, the easier it will be. I'm telling you this. You have got to plan out and be ready for, last minute food emergency type situations. And then I want you to just give it a try. Each week is an experiment. So don't give up if it seems hard. Even if you make one food swap, that is still better than what you were doing beforehand. So maybe you start out small, do one food swap per week. Once you master that, do 2 and then do 3, or do, pick a day and you're like, I'm going to eat nutrient dense this whole day. And then if you master it one day, try it another day. So you do 2 days a week. Again, slow and steady is what wins here. Going all in and feeling like a failure and then just dropping it all, that doesn't get you anywhere. So again, slow and steady, plan, and, just do your best to try to increase your nutrients. And I'm telling you, you will start feeling a lot better. So just to recap, again, we focused on nutrient dense eating, how to do it, what foods to focus on, what foods start, swapping out, how to meal plan for it. If you need more help managing your autoimmune disease, if you're having digestive issues, extra inflammation, I would love to help you. I offer free 15-minute discovery calls to learn about your goals and to see if we're a good fit for each other. So if you go to my YouTube profile, you'll find a link to book a free discovery call. If you can't find it there, if you go to my website, AnnieRubin.com, you will find it there too. If you don't follow me on YouTube, you can click the subscribe button. I do try to put videos out about every week or so. Sometimes I do get behind, but I try to catch up when I'm able. And I'm just trying to give you lots of information to help you live better with your autoimmune disease. So thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, drop them in a comment. You can shoot me a message. I will try to respond as quick as I can. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.